The question sounded harmless. That's what made it so dangerous. My husband smiled across the dinner table, looked directly at Ryan, and asked, "So, how does Claire sleep?" Nobody else reacted. Why would they? It sounded like small talk. A funny question. Something people asked when conversations started running out. Only Ryan and I knew there was no safe answer. The lakehouse weekend had been Noah's idea. 3 couples, 1 rented cabin, fishing during the day, cards at night, a chance to disconnect. Those were his words. Disconnect. The irony still makes me sick. Ryan wasn't supposed to be there originally. He'd been invited only a week earlier after another couple canceled. Noah suggested it. I didn't. I wanted as much distance between my 2 lives as possible. Noah kept bringing them together. At the time, I thought it was coincidence. Now I know better. Ryan and I had been having an affair for almost 18 months. Long enough that we stopped thinking about ourselves as people having an affair. We simply thought of ourselves as people in love. That's the lie affairs tell. They convince you the secret relationship is the real one. Everything else becomes the performance. Noah never seemed suspicious. He stopped asking where I'd been, stopped checking in during work trips, stopped wondering why Ryan's name came up so often. I mistook his silence for trust. It wasn't trust. It was observation. The first day at the cabin felt normal. Fishing, barbecue, too much beer, stories around the fire pit. Ryan fit in surprisingly well. He laughed with Noah, played horseshoes with him, even helped him split firewood. Watching them together made me uncomfortable. Not because they disliked each other, because they got along too well. Late that evening, everyone settled around the fireplace. Rain tapped softly against the windows. Someone suggested telling embarrassing stories. The room filled with laughter. One by one, everyone shared something. Childhood accidents, college mistakes, funny memories. Then Noah looked at Ryan. "You probably know Claire pretty well by now." Ryan smiled carefully. "I'd like to think so." I felt my stomach tighten. Noah nodded. "Then maybe you can settle something." Ryan laughed. "Sure." Noah leaned back in his chair, completely relaxed. "How does Claire sleep?" Silence. Not outside. Inside me. My heartbeat became so loud I barely heard the rain anymore. Ryan frowned. "What?" Noah smiled. "You know, curled up? On her back? Steals the blankets?" Everyone laughed. My sister-in-law joked, "This should be good." Nobody understood. Not yet. Ryan looked at me, just for a second, looking for help. There wasn't any. "I don't know." He laughed nervously. "I've never really noticed." Noah nodded slowly. "Really?" Another smile. "That's funny." Pause. "Claire hasn't slept on her back in almost 2 years." My blood ran cold. He wasn't talking to Ryan anymore. He was talking to me. Ever since her shoulder injury. Another pause. "She curls up on her left side every night." Ryan looked down. Because he knew. He knew exactly how I slept. He knew I tucked one hand under the pillow. He knew I stole the blankets when the room got cold. He knew I couldn't fall asleep without the fan running. He knew everything. But admitting any of it would destroy us. Noah watched him carefully. Not with anger, with curiosity. The way a teacher watches a student during an exam. Finally, Ryan shrugged. "I guess I never paid attention." Noah smiled. "I don't believe you." The room became quiet. Not completely, but enough. Enough that conversations at the other end of the cabin started fading. People sensed something. They didn't know what. Only that something had shifted. Noah reached for his drink, took one slow sip, then asked another question. So if you don't know how she sleeps, how do you know she snores when she's exhausted? The world stopped. Ryan's eyes widened. Mine did too. He'd forgotten. Months earlier, Ryan had teased me about snoring after a weekend trip we'd taken together. Later that same week, during a group lunch, he'd made the exact same joke. At the time, everyone laughed, including Noah. I suddenly remembered Noah asking, "How would you know that?" Ryan had covered it with another joke. Apparently, Noah never forgot. "When did you find out?" I whispered. The words escaped before I could stop them. Noah looked at me. For several seconds, he said nothing, then answered quietly. "Last winter. 8 months. 8 months of birthdays, vacations, anniversaries, family dinners. 8 months of him knowing. Every memory changed shape instantly. The calmness, the patience, the distance. He wasn't trying to save the marriage anymore. He was waiting for the truth to arrive on its own." Ryan stood. "I think I should head home." Noah nodded politely. "I think that's probably best." Nobody stopped him. Nobody knew why he was leaving. Only 2 people in that cabin understood. Ryan walked out into the rain. Didn't look back. Didn't look at me. Didn't say goodbye. The evening ended shortly afterward. People claimed they were tired. Went to bed early. The cabin grew quiet. Later that night, Noah and I sat alone on the back porch. The rain had stopped. The lake was perfectly still. He handed me a large envelope. Divorce papers. Already signed. Already prepared. Already waiting. I wasn't testing him, Noah said quietly. I looked up. "I was testing you." I frowned. "What do you mean?" He looked out over the water. If he'd answered, "You would have watched another man describe things only a husband should know." He paused. If he lied, "You would have watched the man you risked everything for abandon you." Another long silence. There wasn't an answer that saved either of you. I still think about that question. How do you sleep? Such an ordinary sentence. One people ask every day. But the worst part wasn't being exposed. It wasn't the divorce. It wasn't even watching Ryan leave. It was realizing my husband had found a question with no right answer. A question so simple that everyone else thought it was conversation, while only the 3 of us knew it was the moment my marriage finally stopped pretending it was still alive.